Hello grade 7 and welcome to another lesson. Today we're not going to have a new lesson. Instead, I'm going to do a little bit of review of LCM again, especially of three numbers. Of three numbers. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I noticed when I was looking through most of your homework, some of you didn't really know how to do the LCM of three numbers properly, and it probably is my fault for not explaining too carefully or detailed enough of how to find the LCM of three numbers. So I'm going to do an example. So we're going to find the LCM of 48, 80, and 112. And so step 1 is I'm going to prime factorize all three numbers. So I'm going to do 48 over here. 48 can be split into 2 times 24. 24 is 2 times 12. 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. So this is 48. And then I'm going to do 80 over here. 80 is 2 times 40. 40 is 2 times 20. 20 is 2 times 10. And then 10 is 2 times 5. And then I have 112 over here. That's going to be 2 times 56, is that right? 56. Yep, 56 times 2 is 112. Yep. And then 56 is 2 times 28. And then 28 is 2 times 14. 14 is 2 times 7. So I have these numbers. 48 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Let me just count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. Yep, that's correct. And then we have 80 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And then we have 112 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. Now, this is probably not the best example, but I'll do another example later. Step 1 is prime factorize all three numbers, and then step 2, let me use this. Step 2, I need to make more space. Step 2 is we circle common factors for all three numbers. We have to circle all three numbers. So 2, 2, and 2, that's common for all. 2, 2, and 2, that's also common for all. 2, 2, 2, that's common for all. 2, 2, 2, that's also common for all. So I'm going to now write down 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. This is common for all three numbers. And then the next part is usually we might have to step 3, but this time we don't have a step 3, but I'll still write it down. Step 3 is we're going to, let me make this a bit thicker. Step 3, circle any common factors between any remaining common factors. Remaining between any two numbers. So for example, you would see that there's a 3 over here, but there is no 3. But let's just say, for example, if there was a 3 over here, there was a 3 over here, then I would circle the 3 and the 3, and then I can write down times 3 as well. So I hope you understand what I mean here. I will come up with a better example, or I might just use the example from the math homework a while ago. But in this case, there isn't any times 3. And then, so, let me just write down step 3. Step 4. Step 4 is we circle remaining non-common factors, which is going to be, in this case, in this example, is going to be 3, 5, and 7. And so lastly, we write the LCM. 5, write LCM as, this is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then we have the times 3 times 5 times 7. Circle the remaining non-common factors. That's going to be this 3, that's this 5, and this 7. I'll come up with another example. Let me quickly go to the homework from before. The previous homework was 24, 60, and 72. Let me just quickly go through that. 24, 60, and 70, and 72. Is that right? 24, 60, and 72. So let me quickly go through that. Find LCM of 24, 60, and 72. And quite a few of you made a mistake here because I probably didn't explain it enough. So 24, I'm going to split it, is 2 times 12 equals 2 times 6 equals to 2 times 3. So 24 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And then we have 60, that's 2 times 30. 30 is 2 times 15. 15 is 3 times 5. And then we have 72, which is 2 times 36. 36 is 2 times 18. 18 is 2 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. So let me write that down. 60 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And then we have 72 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Let me just put a line over there so that I won't make a mistake. And then if I go to my step 2 now, I'm going to first circle all the common factors for all three numbers. So that's going to be 2, 2, 2. That's common for all numbers. 2, 2, 2. That's common for all numbers. And then I also have a 3, 3, and 3. That's common for all numbers. There's no more 2 left for that 60, so I cannot circle that 2 anymore. So I can quickly write down it's going to be 2 times 2 times 3 for my green part. And then with the red part, circle remaining common factors between any 2 numbers. It's any 2 numbers. So any common factors between any 2 numbers? Yes, I have a 2 and a 2 over here. So I can write down that 2 once. And then lastly, with my step 3, I circle any remaining non-common factors, which is going to be 5 and 3 in this case. So I'm going to write times 5 times 3. And then once you multiply all this out, it should equal to 360 and not 720, because there is a 2 over here and a 2 over here that is repeated. So I think the most important point to note is this point over here is circle remaining common factors between any 2 numbers. Okay, so that's finding the LCM of 3 numbers. Now let's go to an example of ordering fractions from least to greatest. Of course, this kind of involves LCM because we have to find the LCM of 4, 7, 14, and 28. Of course, this is a very simple example. The LCM of this is going to be 28 because 7 times 4 is 28, 14 times 2 is 28. So, but I want to show you, let me show you using prime factorization. I can still do this question. So 14 is equal to 2 times 7, and then we have 28, which is equal to 2 times 14, which is equal to 2 times 7, and then we have 7, which is just on its own. And so when we circle things, common between all three, 7, 7, and 7 is common between all three, and then any remaining common factors between any two numbers, that's the red part, that's going to be 2 times 2. They are common between 14 and 28. And then lastly, any non-common factor that is repeating between any two numbers. So I have here LCM is equal to 7. That's my first set of common factors between all three. And then I have times 2, which is this repeated one between 14 and 28. And then I have another times 2, which is on its own. And so when you do 7 times 2 times 2, that's going to be 14 times 2, which is going to be 28. And that is correct. Okay, so my target is going to be 28 at the bottom. So my first fraction, 8 over 14, is equal to, I'm going to multiply top and bottom, 16 over 28. And then I also have 11 over 28 is the same. So I'm going to just write down 11 over 28 over here. And then I have 3 over 7 equals to something over 28. This needs to multiply 4. And so the top also needs to multiply 4. That gives me 12 over 28. And lastly, we need to order it from least to greatest and written in the original form. So this is the smallest, least. And then this is the greatest. And so I'm going to write it 11 over 28. And then I have 8 over 14. And then lastly, sorry, not 8 over 14. The second one is 12 over 28, which is 3 over 7. And then lastly, we have 8 over 14. So that's how you order. I want you to show your working out. I see many students not showing their working out when order fractions from least to greatest. Okay. So today, your homework, I have created another worksheet for you. The first two questions, let me find it over here. This is going to be the worksheet. So what you need to do is the first two questions, the first three questions, you write them down, find the LCM of the three numbers, show all your working out, and then question 2 is a little bit of a problem solving for LCM. It's just an application. And in question 3, you have to order the fractions from least to greatest, show your working out, and then you lastly write them from least to greatest in the original form. And then question 4 and 5, you need to use your exercise packet and do those remaining questions. So there are a few questions. Please try to complete them. This is a review of what we've learned so far. So question 1 and 2 is for 5.4. Question 3 is 5.5. And then we have 5.6 and 5.7 as those remaining questions. So please complete your homework. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask, or you can ask me in the class notebook collaboration space, where I would put a homework queries part. And then if you don't have any questions, then make sure you show all your working out as in your homework. That's it for today, and I will see you in the next lesson.